Hello and welcome everyone. In this tutorial, let's look at the techniques behind the creation of this very shiny, colorful, abstract lines effect. Alright, let's start by going to composition, new composition, and choose the HDTV 1080p 30 fps preset and make it a 10-second long composition. And let's call it the line effect 01. Let's grab the text tool and let's choose an Arial, a normal Arial font, and choose a medium gray color as the color, and let's type some dots, just dots. That's it. And let's change the kerning as well until it becomes a solid line. Kerning value to -270 works fine for me this time. Let's reset the transformation so it moves to the center. You can also turn on the safe actions, and let's type some more dots until it becomes a solid line like this long. And while the layer is being selected, let's grab the pen tool and draw a line like this, and let's adjust the Bezier handles like so to give it a nice curvy shape. Then in the text properties, let's in the path options, let's choose that mask 1 as the path option, and the line will take the mask shape. Let's change the color to white so we can see it better. And let's add a scale animator and type 0 to scale, so the line will go away for now. But let's go to the advanced rollout and choose subtract here. Then it will come back up. And if you choose smooth to the shape attribute, it will taper the line at both ends. The next problem is that the line is not vertically centered to the mask, so we can change the baseline shift to adjust that. Now it's centered. Now let's see what else we can do here. I think I have to adjust the tapering a little bit more. So yeah, let's adjust the ease in and ease high by like 50 to ease high and -50 to ease low. Now let's start animating by setting up a keyframe on the first margin attribute, and let's move the values in minus direction to move the line away from the screen. Let's move it away like so. All right, that would be enough. And let's move the time slider to the first second. Let's zoom it in. Zoom in into the area, and press N on the keyboard, by the way, to set the range, preview range, and change the value to set another keyframe there. But in this time, it's a positive value to move the line away from the mask, like so. Now it's moving. Yeah, now it's animating, but the problem is it has to clip from these 2 points. It's not clipping at the moment. It extends beyond that point, which is bad. The way to fix that is to animate the start and end attributes. So start 0, set a keyframe there. 100 to 0. Let's animate from 100 to 0 over 15 frames, and for the next 15 frames, let's animate the end value from 100 to 0. That's what you have to do. Once you do that, look at the animation. Now it's animating. It's not perfect, but it'll do fine. Now what you have to do next is to animate the shape itself. So in order to do that, just select the layer and press M on your keyboard and set a keyframe to mask pass at the beginning of the timeline, and go to the first second and change the shape to set another keyframe there. All right. Let's adjust these Bezier handles to get a nice curvy shape like that. Yeah, I don't want you to move it too much. It's a very little movement. There's only little movement, so let's duplicate the layer like 15 times, because that's half the amount of the frames for 1 second. Now let's go to Windows and choose MoGraph Mastery Toolbox. Now, how to get the tool into After Effects is that you have to follow the link in the description and download the script and go to wherever you have installed After Effects, the root folder, and go inside the support files folder and find the script folder inside it and script UI panels folder, and paste the MoGraph Mastery Toolbox script inside that folder. And once you relaunch the application, you should find the tool at the bottom of the Windows menu. And there you go. All right, now press Ctrl A to select all of the layers, and let's type 2 here and click on Offset Layers. And that's what it would do. It would offset the layers by 2 frames each. Now make sure your time slider is at 28th frame. In other words, it's right on top of the in point of the bottommost layer. That's very important. Now press U on your keyboard to reveal these keyframes, so the masks, and from top to bottom, turn off all the keyframes in one go. Let's change the color to a medium gray for all of the layers. And while all the layers are selected, let's change the transfer mode to add and increase the preview range a little bit, like up to 3rd second, and go to preview, play current preview. And this is the animation that we have made. Look at that. Now let's duplicate this composition, the line effect 1 composition, and delete all the layers except 1. And let's change this mask path and set a keyframe at the beginning of the timeline and go to the 1st second. Advance the time slider to the 1st second, and let's change the shape here to make an animation to this shape once again. 1 second animation. We're going to do a 1 second animation, but unlike the last time, we're going to make a big movement. Last time it was the movement was small, but this time the movement is going to be big. Because of this big movement, this time we are going to use 30 copies of this layer later. Now let's change the keyframes to easy ease. Go to the graph editor. In the speed graph, let's adjust it like that. And now it has some good ease in and ease out. Something that we didn't do the last time. Now here, this time, we are going to make 30 copies because the movement is big. Select all of them. Go to the MoGraph Mastery Toolbox. Offset the layers by just 1 frame this time, 1 frame. Now make sure your time slider is right on top of the bottommost layers in point. That's very, very important. Now press U on your keyboard and turn off the keyframes for the masks in one go from top to bottom. Like so. That's it. Now increase the preview range. Drag this slider here. And let's make a preview. That's the animation you would see. Yeah, it's unlike the last time, the movement is big now. Now these 2 animations, we need to pre-render them. Let's go to Composition, add to Media Encoder. And yeah, let's choose PNG sequence. And make sure in video you include the alpha channel here in the settings. And yeah, let's create a folder somewhere to save this sequence of images. And likewise, let's add this one too. Yeah, we need to render up to this point. And this animation, yeah, we need only need to render up to this point, 2nd frame. Yeah, let's add the line effects 2 composition as well to the media encoder. Let's make another folder here, and let's save that sequence in there, and let's hit render. Once it's rendered, we need to import them. Browse to wherever you have rendered them, and yes, double click on them, import them as PNG sequences. All right, now we no longer need these layers, these text layers. Let's delete them and replace them with our pre-rendered PNG sequences. All right, that's what you can see. So our composition is now unnecessarily long. So let's trim the comp. Right click, trim comp to work area. This one too, trim comp to work area. Now it's trimmed. Let's go ahead and duplicate these compositions, because we are going to make some variations out of these existing animations. Let's change the settings to 1920 by 1920, so it's a square shaped 1920 composition. Let's rotate the footage like so and scale it up and down a little bit. I think, yeah, that the edge is clipping off, so let's move it down, scale it down a little bit. Press S on your keyboard to reveal the scale attributes. By the way, we don't need this one. Let's 3 is enough. Now let's make the main comp. Go to composition, new composition, and call it lines animation, and it should be 10 seconds long. Let's drag the line effect comps into the composition, and it should be a 1080p, actually 1080p comp. Let's change that. Control K, by the way, to bring up the composition settings. Now let's add a CC toner for these composition layers to change their colors. Now the bottommost layer, let's duplicate these two layers and change the colors even more. Now the bottommost layer is the 1920 by 1920, the big composition. I'm not going to use that yet. Let's change all of them to transfer mode to add, and move them here and there. Now you can see, yeah, it looks like that. Now let's actually duplicate this third one and change it to 1920 once again. And you remember this, we did this earlier, but for the other animation. But for this one too, we're going to do it. Now this is our fourth line effect. Let's actually drag and drop it into the composition. Now we are going to do something else to these two. Let's go to Effect, Perspective, and add CC Cylinder to both of them. CC Cylinder, and let's copy and paste some of those CC Toner effects for these two as well. Change the transfer mode to add once again, and yeah, now we can rotate them. Rotate in Z-axis in 90 degrees maybe. Yeah, let's adjust this even more. Yeah, 90 should be 90. Yeah, position it, and yeah, let's give it a little bit more different rotation and radius as well to give it a bit more of a different look. Now let's apply, go to blur, sharpen, and vector blur to blend in those little gaps left by the dots, and also to give it a different look. So let's change it, the amount to 15 or 20. I don't know, you can eyeball this. Let's copy and paste the effect to the other layers as well. Now let's go to Stylize, Glow. Let's add some glow with some higher radius. Let's actually copy that glow effect to the other layers as well. Okay, that looks good. Let's do it for the other layers too. Now let's unhide them. Now look at that. We are getting there. Now it's just a matter of moving them here and there and placing them. So let's actually offset them, because now they are animating at the same time. Let's offset them like so, arbitrarily, of course. And give them some scaling variation as well. Press S on your keyboard to reveal the scale attributes, and make sure you flip them randomly in y-axis too. And yeah, that's it. Now this is completely up to you. You can just move them here and there and come up with a good arrangement. Now let's press N on your keyboard to set the preview range here and make a preview. And that's how it's going to look like. It looks good, but the next thing I have to do is to animate the logo in, which involves some work, but yeah, it'll be quick. Just go to composition, new composition, and let's call this logo, and make sure that your preset is 1080p and 10 seconds long, 30 fps. And here let's go to file, import, and browse to wherever you have saved out your logo and import it. Yeah, let's place it there. Let's use the maximum space available. All right, let's close these down and focus on this composition now. Let's drag and drop this logo here, and let's pre-compose it. Go to layer, pre-compose, and call it logo composition. Let's change the label of the layer a little bit different, and let's go into it and scale down the logo inside it. Now we have independent movement there. Now we are going to reveal the logo with this layer. Let's keyframe the rotation, Y rotation of this layer, and let's make an animation like that. Press U on the keyboard, by the way, to reveal the keyframes. Now we have animated the rotation, the Y rotation of the CC cylinder effect, of course. Now with the logo comp layer selected, let's draw a mask like this, and let's animate it to follow the shape of that element that we just animated the rotation. We did the rotation animation with. All right, like so. Let's follow the movement of that element. Now here, let's adjust the mask shape to follow that shape. All right, like so. And from beyond that, let's just move it there. All right. Now it's animating like that. If we make a preview, now the logo is being animated like that. Now it's revealing like that. Now this is a very simple animation, of course, but see what happens when you bring all the layers back on. Yeah, that's seamless. I can do a lot more with it, but I'm not going to spend too much time on revealing the logo, because the tutorial is about creating those shiny line effects. Now the beauty of this is that you can go into this logo composition and change anything there. For example, let's type shiny and just kerning size and the text size and move it into place. Now whatever you place here, it will update the animation right away. Now this is it. That's how you can do it. All right, you can go ahead and start experimenting with this. For example, instead of CC cylinder, you can apply CC sphere. It'll be a very interesting effect. You can turn the layers into 3D, add cameras, add lens flares, so on and so forth. So anyway, this is how it is. I'll see you in another tutorial really soon. Until then, bye bye.